Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So this is another video on upgrading common items and scrapping. I think this is my third one, and I will include in my description the links to the other two to show you a lot of common items that you will find while scrapping and are very easy to upgrade the material for maximum profit. Unfortunately, I do see a lot of scrappers bring in truckloads of material and they do not take the time to separate the materials. Sometimes I think they don't know how to or what the metal is, and they definitely will lose out significantly on profit. So have a few common items here that I'm gonna look at just to continue with this series, hopefully help you identify the material, and more importantly, how to maximize your profit and divert as much of these away from the landfill as possible. So here we go. The first item that I do want to talk about are lamps. I see a lot of lamps, stand-up lamps, and even night table lamps that people will drive by for something like this. You can see, given the size of this is a stand-up lamp, and for the sake of this video, I have broken it down. But they will come along and just take the wire here, which is a good piece of material. You can see that it is pretty lengthy. However, what I'm going to do is just quickly show you an experiment. So I'm going to cut it at the base like most scrappers will do. There it is. This is a nice hunk right here that you see. However, why I will not pass these up is because these wires will actually go all the way up this bar and go all the way to the head. So this is part of it. As you can see, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to open it and pull out the rest of it here. Okay, so look at that. This is the rest of it. There is the head. If I was to compare even the two of these, looking at length, so look at that. The lengths are actually the same. So you are actually missing out on a whole extra length of this wire. And the reason this wire is good is because this at a scrapyard is classified as 60% appliance wire. As you can see inside, when I show you, there are two wires of copper and only one layer of plastic. Because there is less plastic here, more copper, this is a high value. And currently this is actually going for $2.10 a pound right now in London, Ontario. So an excellent price for this. There are other wires when we look at appliance wires like microwaves, dehumidifiers, extension cords, anything that has an outer coating of plastic and individual coated strands inside. Those have more plastic, less copper recovery, and those are going to be classified as your 40% appliance wire. Still at an excellent price. It is going right now for $1.20 a pound, but you definitely do want to separate it. And you definitely want to separate it as you are scrapping, because I made that mistake when I began. I had it all in a container and it took me a couple hours to separate it. So here again, like I said, lamps, an excellent place to get the cord. As well, the rest of this bar, as you can see, if I put a magnet to it, if I can find my magnets, somewhere on the floor here, I'm sure. Sorry about that. Oh, here we go. Here is my magnet. As you can see, this is actually going to give me tin shred price, which is currently going for 6 cents a pound. You do have to make sure you check. A lot of times they will have a plastic weight on the bottom. I can use these for different things. I've actually used these because they are really good outside. I've put them on tarps. I can use them again, but unfortunately, if you have no use to that, this is garbage. But this is all going to be tin. And the other reason why I love lamps, not only just because of the wire, but also because, as you can see, this is another lamp. You do want to check. I've seen some people actually drive right by them. And what's interesting about this one, this is just the pull from it. This is actually, as you can see, I've already scratched it. I've taken the paint cover off. This is actually brass. So this is probably almost a pound, this large pole for the lamp. I do actually have the base somewhere, But yellow brass like this is actually going for about $2.85 a pound. So you definitely don't want to pass this up. And that is where, while scrapping, it is a good idea to carry a magnet with you. If it was non-magnetic, I've seen some of them that are aluminum, and aluminum is obviously better than tin shred price. But again, some of them, especially your decorative ones, can have brass on it. So beautiful brass. Don't be fooled by the paint. You definitely want to take a magnet as well as a file or something to scratch it. If this was to reveal underneath a metallic or a metallic look, it could either have been stainless steel or aluminum. The other test would be a grinder. If I hit this with a grinder and it was metallic underneath, stainless steel will spark, aluminum won't. So both of those two are excellent scrappable materials. And as I said, lamps are a common thing passed over. So you don't want to make that mistake. The other thing that I want to look at that are common are your vacuum cleaner hoses. A lot of these vacuum cleaners like this, you get your Swiffer wet jets, you get your small apparatus like this, and people will, again, come along, cut the cord off. I've had some people that will pass up the actual vacuum cleaner because they believe that the motor inside has been replaced with aluminum windings instead of copper windings, but the inner core for these, something like this, are always copper. These are the armatures, and I do have a separate video how to show you how to remove that copper, and I will also include that video in my description. Very easy to do, but an excellent source of scrap. But the other thing, what I want to focus on is the actual arm. A lot of these are going to be aluminum, like this one. This is aluminum. Okay, and some people will pass them up because they have the plastic handles. They do have a little bit of plastic here. But again, very easy to clean off and separate. Something like this is off a larger one. Yes, it has a lot of plastic, but this still has a little bit of scrap value. There is some aluminum here that is worth taking. If I put a magnet to it, as I said, does not stick. Even if it was tin, I would definitely take it. A lot of your older style vacuum cleaners are stainless steel, and stainless steel right now is going, good stainless steel, for about 77 cents a pound. So your power heads are a great item to get for that scrap. And again, in our scrappers world, sometimes you are lucky to get a lot of stuff. Sometimes you are skunked and get nothing. So something is better than nothing. And that is definitely a rule that I live by, as well as the benefit of seeing as much of this being diverted from the landfill. So very easy to upgrade this. All I actually would do is take a grinder. I have a grinder here set up. I'll even do it for you. Very easy. Just gonna cut across inside of here. I always do look inside. There is all plastic here, so it's not worth anything for me. So I will cut as close to the end as I can. Even if the plastic is still inlaid inside a little bit, very easy to take out. Once I pop that or cut it open, I just hit a hammer, it will loosen up that plastic. But very easy to cut. Okay, as you can see, there we go. There's just a teeny bit of plastic in here, or aluminum in here, but that is very simple to take off. And once I remove this one, again, it all adds up. This is gonna give me clean aluminum, which is going for about 50 cents a pound. So I do have a large store of various vacuum cleaner parts like this, as well as any of your clean aluminum sheet, all your inner parts of your magnetrons, those are all gonna be clean aluminum. Some of your siding obviously is a different category, but clean aluminum is definitely worth taking, okay? As well, I have various hoses that I have. This actually, you will not find this often, but I definitely wanted to show it. This was out of a construction site bin. This is a gas line connector, but some beautiful copper there, or a brass there that I can take off. But this is something you are often gonna find. These are your nozzles out of power washers. I find lots of power washers, especially in the spring, as well as in the fall, they have a leak. They weren't drained properly in the winter, so there's a a leak that developed from the water expanding. And these nozzles are an excellent source of brass. Inside of there is some brass connectors. Your nozzles, very easy to open. They actually just have some screws on the outer part of the plastic. But again, there you can see right there the brass there. And all I would actually do with this is, again, I would just use my grinder, cut open the plastic, and it will fold out. For these types of things, when it's heavy plastic like this, I don't often use a grinder because a grinder will heat up the plastic and kind of melt it. I will actually use a hand saw. That way it doesn't create any types of that melting and, you know, kind of fuse that plastic together. But these power washer nozzles, an excellent part of brass as well. It has some steel. So I have seen some people actually just throw these right into their steel without actually looking, but there is some great brass nozzles. Another item that I like to look at are your lids. These types of lids you will find on a lot of slow cookers, different pots and pans. Pots and pans are an excellent source of either scrap cast aluminum, they can be steel or tin, sorry. Some of them actually have a little bit of copper on them. Some of them are stainless steel, but a lot of times people will throw out these lids and not even think about the edges. This does have a small screw that I will take out. I can put that screw into my tin pile, which I will. But the outer limb here, as you can see, is non-magnetic, just like this one. And that's because this is stainless steel. These are very easy to take apart, to break the glass out of this. And I'm gonna do that right now. All I'm gonna do is, I always use a pair of safety glasses. I will put it into a bag. And this is really easy to do because it is tempered glass. If you hit it, it's not going to be, you know, all that sharp in terms of, you know, jagged edges. Tempered glass breaks off into little pieces. It's a little bit safer, but I will always put it into a bag like this. It's usually a heavier bag, and all I'm gonna do, even I'm gonna put my safety glasses on, but just gonna hit it with my hammer just to break it. So you can hear it. It's nice and smushed now. Okay, gonna take just a pair of gloves because in my luck, you know, this will be where I cut myself. But you definitely want to, once you take it out, there are going to be small edges like this. And all I'm going to do, as I said, very simple. All I do is actually just fold it out. You can see it just folds out, no problem. Put on safety glasses because those are the most important thing. Okay, but I love to use a bag because it picks up the garbage that I'm just playing around with. Make sure as it takes out any types of spill. Okay, but there again are a nice piece of stainless steel. And again, very simple, the spark test. I'll use this one. If I'm gonna hit this with a grinder like this and it sparks, it's gonna be stainless. Okay, so these two pieces, again, they don't look like significant amount of weight, but it adds up. I will bring it in with all of my good stainless steel. In order for it to classify as good stainless steel, it has to be non-magnetic. So again, at 77 cents a pound, the amount of lids I find with pots and pans, it too will add up over time. So some pot lids. Here's my easy cleanup. I'll just transfer this into a garbage bin. I can use the bag again, and you know, again, got that out of the landfill. Next thing I want to look at are your ballasts and light bulbs. Ballasts, great thing. These are actually a separate category at a scrapyard, but a lot of times these will also, people will overlook your connectors. These connectors have some really nice brass in them, okay, as well as the wire. This is some really nice thick copper wire. If I was to cut this, which I'm gonna do, ballasts, I believe, are about 15 cents a pound at the scrapyard. They do say lead-free. I have actually opened one of these. They do have copper in them, but in my opinion, they are not worth breaking apart to get that little bit of copper. I bring them in as is, but I will show you a video as well on that if you are the type that does do it. okay? But a ballast here, beautiful copper. This is your, again, 60% wire because one layer of coating, one each individual strand, okay? I do also make sure that I pull out these plastic ends. I will throw these into low grade because I don't want an excuse from a scrapyard to downgrade me. But your connectors here all have brass. Look at that beautiful brass in there. And you can see right here, I've got a whole bunch of them that are gonna add up. So very simple, all I'm gonna do here is just break one open. I could use a pair of pliers just to pull it out, but I'm just gonna use this just to break it out. Okay. Very simple, pull the backing off. There is my connectors. Gonna cut this wire here like that. Pull this through. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Look at that. Some more yellow brass. So I've got 2 of them in each one of these. Okay, very simple to do. There's also a small little connector on the base. So just that, it took me all but 15 seconds to get this little bit of brass. I just throw it into my brass bucket and it will add up very nice and quickly. Okay, so your connectors for light bulbs, great source of brass. Light bulbs are another thing that people overlook. I have actually got a lot of free light bulbs out of lamps that people throw out. They work perfectly fine. But the inner part of these as well, inside, always have a nice brass connector. They always have some copper, as well as some free aluminum. The outer part that you screw into the light bulb is aluminum, okay? So every bit counts, which is great, but you have some brass connectors there. Okay, this one here is actually another example. This, I think, came out of a microwave. This is copper connectors. So once I remove the bulb here, this one might even work. Look at the copper connectors in there. Very easy to remove. All I do is use a hammer. Okay, just gonna smashy. Okay, look at that. Boom. There is a little bit more copper. Okay, here's a copper one on this end. Boom, look at that. How easy that was. And again, as I said, if this light bulb works, I can reuse it. Okay, a little bit of plastic. Another one that I like to look at is, so just a little bit of stainless steel. Stainless steel, you will find these are the little catch basins that come out of dishwashers. Dishwashers are an excellent thing to grab. Even the racks, they have a coating on them of plastic, but they are tin shred. These are your catch basins. And again, rule applies, put a magnet to them. They are stainless steel. This is actually one out of a coffee holder. This one does not stick as well. That's stainless steel. So little bits like this, again, 77 cents a pound, often overlooked, especially when people are trying to get at those motors anyway. This is a great part of stainless steel. I've seen people throw these into the tin pile because they assume metallic color, it's gotta be tin. So definitely wanna check, as well as screws when they come out of dishwashers and washers. A lot of times they are stainless steel, they are non-magnetic because they don't want the rust. So I will separate those and put them into stainless steel, a big bin that I have somewhere. Over here. Okay, so here's a nice stainless steel water bottle that is loaded with my stainless steel screws. You can see, hopefully inside of that. Okay, so all of these are non-magnetic. Okay, so I will just bring this in all with my stainless steel pile. This actually weighs 7 pounds as is. So it all adds up, but again, your catch basins, stainless steel. And the last thing I want to look at, I've already done a video on barbecue pressure nozzles, beautiful brass on them, but a lot of times the hose crimping is overlooked. You will find different types. Here is a hose crimp right there. Here is one. Here is a third one. And as you can see, some of them, if I put a magnet to this one, that is magnetic. This one is non-magnetic. And this one is non-magnetic. So if I put a file to these, which I'm gonna do right now, where is my file? Of course, I dropped it somewhere. But even if I took a knife, oh, there it is. So here's my file. So this one, because it is magnetic, not even gonna bother with it, but this one, gonna just scratch it for you. Look at that. That is copper. So once I remove that, I'm gonna put that little thing of copper into my number 1 copper. Copper in the scrap world is our scrapper's gold. This one, gonna check this one, different color. This one is actually brass. So once I remove that, I will also take that crimp off. So some of your barbecues, your end, your crimps, check those to see if they're brass, copper, or magnetic, so they'll be tin. So easy places to find it. And barbecue gas nozzles like this, or propane pressure nozzles, excellent source of your brass. So you're already scrapping it anyway. The outer part is cast aluminum. You do have to open those to get the little spring out. Very easy to do, and I will also upload the video to show you how to do those to help you maximize your profit. So again, thank you for those questions. Beginners, scrappers getting into the game, asking often about quick tips and tricks. Here is another bunch of them that I have added to my collection. So again, if you're interested in the other ones, please go check out those other videos in the description below. Please comment down below on this video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.